Oh, and we are live. It's Edge Radio Australia time for a little show I like to call
Wealth by Design, and all the various mystery subjects that we've got.
Oh, mate, there are quite a few mystery subjects. There's no doubt about that. The man that joins me right here to my right-hand man today, but I'll tell you what, how accurate is that in so many ways? We have Jeff Bowman, mate. Great to have you here. Wealth by Design, your baby. The fantastic way that you link people together, literally to give them the services that can basically make their life so improved in so many ways, financially, insurance, no added leases, so many different ways, mate.
The super connectors, Aaron.
The super connectors. Oh, yes. I like that.
Yeah, like that one. I thought about it the other day. A stroke of creative brilliance of mine.
I know. Well, there's a few chips up there that are pretty busy. We'll put it that way. They're the old super connector.
Going on.
There is a lot going on. Now, today, we're going to talk about, funny, we're talking about microchips in a strange kind of way because we are going to be talking about cyber security. It's a big deal. It's a very, very big deal.
It is a big deal.
I think that if you haven't been touched by this, by the fact that, people are out there, stealing your info, doing this sort of thing, I think there's a case of you either have been or you're a potential customer, and in fact, of theirs, it's going to happen to you. I think that's where I'm going at.
I think so, yeah. No, it's it is my first big shock with it. Was just in our business when we were running our financial planning company, and one of the staff came in first thing in the morning and said, "Oh, Jeff, what's wrong with all the screens?"
Yeah,
and they're all just flickering.
Yep.
And we had about 2 terabyte of data, about 30 years of data,
a lot of
client data. Yeah, so it was a major data breach because on one of the 11 monitors, there was this big sign going, basically, you're being punished for being poor with your cybersecurity, and this is the address you've got to send the $25,000 worth of Bitcoin to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting indeed. Okay.
That was very disturbing, but thankfully we were okay because we backed up everything every night to an encrypted file.
Okay. That's important.
And we're right, But
and also, look, let's think about this. This is people's vulnerable information. You don't want that in the world. And we've seen some big, big players who have had this happen to them. I'm so, grateful, quite frankly, to you, to the fact that you did do those downloads. You did keep that information another place as well. Because, geez, when you get it out there, it's a major problem, right? At every level. Level.
Yeah, it's it. The Tim Baxter, I guess, that's coming on from DevSafe.
Sure.
We'll have a lot of the facts and to steal his thunder. He knows a lot more than I do. But we I was just looking the other night with one of your colleagues at the number of companies in Australia that have been basically hammered and what documents have been stolen.
Well, you've got some info in front of you there.
It goes on and on. It's just frightening. There's the plastic bag company falls victim to a ransomware attack. The Perfect Fresh, same, Qantas customer passports. All their frequent flyer details were stolen.
Yeah.
Like a lot of this doesn't hit the press.
And it should, right? I mean, there's literally a webpage you can go to that shows you up to date what's going on with this. Yes. But when we're talking about like telcos, and we all know about the famous one with Optus, right? Okay, so there's just tens of thousands of people whose complete private information was out there to the world.
Yes.
On that one. But it is so many others at so many different levels. Now, I know for a fact that the Australian government has been hacked on multiple occasions. Yep. This frightens me, right, with MyGov, ThisGov, all those different pages. Now, when people have got this information, they can create debt for you. And guess what? The real you is the one who's left with it all.
I know. It's very dangerous. You've had people with, people who have worked out that their property's been sold.
Unbelievable. I mean, honestly,
like their $600,000 house has been sold.
Yeah.
Underneath them, they better went on holidays and they missed all the paperwork and blah blah blah. And someone else now owns their house.
You just can't even contemplate that, can you? Yeah. Well, sadly, I can to a degree, but that's a whole other story. Yeah. But this is something that's a very real part of the world right now, and as we can see, governments are trying to get rid of cash. Okay, and I'm not saying you go and buy a house on cash. You certainly don't. Or many things that we use and the conveniences of the electronics for. Fantastic, great, but there is, by making that the only way that you can actually share in commerce, that is just insane in my mind anyway.
It is. It's a real risk. I mean, where is the security? Where is the privacy? Where is the protection?
I don't see any. Yep.
And it's so Tim, with his company called DevSafe, he's actually quite a clever guy. A corporate background, very well established in Asia, speaks various Asian languages. A local Perth boy.
Oh, okay, right, okay. And he's based now in New Zealand?
Auckland. Yeah, yeah. He's got an office in Wellington and in Auckland. And what he'll talk about today is the next step in an employer protecting the company from being attacked.
Okay.
And basically turning all of the staff into frontline cybersecurity soldiers.
Right.
By educating them on all the things to look for.
Oh, look, education is key to all of this.
Let's
be honest. When you just don't know. And there's so many schemes out there that people don't, because they look so real. I mean, they're done so well. And sometimes it works to the detriment. I've had stuff come from my bank and I go, I'm not answering that because I just don't feel right about it. And then later on I get a letter saying, hey, we sent you an email about it. But I'd rather be overly cautious and make that mistake. I have to wait for the paper version of it, then make that mistake and hand over my information to some sort of
a polished scamster. And it's not just the backyard dodgy kids now. Like it's a major criminal industry.
Of course it is.
Sadly,
if there's money to be made, someone will have a go at it, and somebody they'll refine the techniques, right? Okay, they'll turn this into a factory.
And and they're quite blazing about it. You just see it come up on documentaries and things like the boiler rooms in Asia, or
we've all had those.
Back end of Uzbekistan or wherever. And well funded.
Very well funded indeed. I remember 1 years ago that I got this phone call about this holiday package, family kind of set up that, it was almost too good to be true. It was fantastic. You buy into this club, yada, yada. And it did look very attractive. And I was thinking, you know what, I might just make this move, right?
Yeah.
And anyway, long story short, I did actually say, I need some time to think about it. Now, it was an Indian telemarketer, this particular one, and he kept putting the pressure on to, let's get the deal done, let's get it done. And I thought, hang on, mate, you're adding a lot of pressure. It seems so time critical to you. But no, I'll sit on it. Anyway, when I thought to myself, there's no way in the world I'm going to do this, when they called me back, right? When they called me back, when I said, no, I really want 24 hours to think about it, and we need a cooling off period, yada, yada. And he basically called me back within 2 or 3 minutes. Have you made a decision yet? And you just go, come on, mate, this doesn't smell right. Now, that's one that's quite obvious, even though he was very charming and very good at what he did.
Yes.
It was still very obvious because of the manic need to get the deal done.
Yes.
But some of them, in fact, most of them are far more subtle than that. You look at a logo and the font is just slightly wrong.
There's different ways of doing an it's amazing. And of course, what was really obvious with the big publicly known cyber attacks in like in Australia, Medicare, right? It's the human error. It's the individual's laptop at home that's been hacked.
Yes.
To get into the whole Medicare system. So that's the weak link in the chain, right?
Look, and when we had COVID and people working from home, and people are still working from home a lot, there's no doubt about that. But when it comes to government departments, geez, there's a lot of risk there of your privacy. There really is if that laptop's at home. And of course, this is still going on today.
Still going on.
Yeah. I think the door was open big time for that. Actually, if I can just get you to drag your mic a little bit closer, that'd be fantastic.
There we go.
Just up there. No, it's all good. Because that way, it's given that opportunity and it's normalized this kind of thing. And people don't think about the security at the level maybe they should. Because, it's not that you've got anything to hide. It's the fact that, you do have something you hide. I mean, your privacy, your private information, when they can clone you, when they can make a fake Aaron out there in the world, right? And I see it on social media all the time. There's fake me's popping up left, right, and center. You've got to nip it in the bud because they can do a lot of damage. But if they're into your bank account,
I know, it's frightening. We had another client that where the bank actually phoned us.
Right.
No, the bank, Westpac it was. They called our client about 9 o'clock in the morning and said, look, you've had about $50,000 stolen out of one of your line of credit accounts.
Right.
And they went, what? And they said, yeah, but don't worry, we'll put the money back. what actually happened was that your phone account with Telstra was switched across to Optus.
Whoa.
And that's where the code comes to, right? Because you get a text code.
Of course. Yeah.
Of a personal, different if it's business, but if it's personal, it's generally a code to your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the crooks had done. They'd swapped telco companies.
Right.
Taken her off Telstra and put her onto Optus.
No way.
And then they controlled her phone.
Of course they did.
And it came through, they put the code in and bingo, there came the money.
They're so slick about this. Now, some messages coming through, and I just want to sort of acknowledge these people. So thank you very much for being part of that. We've got the Consumer Extraordinaire. That's a cool name. I'll tell you, I don't mind that at all. Who are these people doing these attacks? And how are they so good? Well, very good question. We'll talk to Tim. Is Tim coming
Yes,
on
Tim
board?
Baxter.
Yeah. Now Tim will actually get us up to date on that. So I really appreciate the question. We'll visit that. Hello to Josh. Good to see you there, mate. I'm sure now there's a fellow who's always got some great opinions and insight into stuff. So I look forward to his comments as we go through the day. Oh, look at that. He's still working from home. Oh, Josh. Going back to the office. Well, I can identify with that. Let's face it, it cuts the fuel bill down a bit. But look, and if you can do it productively, but I do worry about the safety. I really do. And specifically if your job basically it controls other people's money.
Look, it is. How weak is that? You've got a whole organization like a Medibank private and one laptop from one of the staff at home lets them into the whole system. Yeah. And it is it's frightening, and of course that just requires your basic protection on your laptop.
Yeah.
So you need your right antivirus and all the rest of it.
Of course.
But what's so simple and easy to do is get one of these password managers just for your own everyday stuff. And it works a treat.
It works a treat, and it's not. And I look, I joke about it, but I do mean it. I mean, I struggle to spell IT. Okay, I mean, I just don't like it. And I've actually got one of those where it makes up a new number or password for me constantly. It is brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, because for people like me who might forget, it's just a brilliant way of keeping it locked and nice and tight, and I can feel comfortable about security. I like that a lot.
Create your own passwords, or just save in a secure spot your existing passwords.
Yeah, very true.
You know where to find them every time.
Well, and don't make them, your first dog or your first this or that. Think about it a little bit. Get a bit of, I'm going to get creative about it. So yeah. All right,
does help.
So all right, now, am I right to ask you when you had the attack, the cyber attack? Okay, now you nipped that in the bud really, really quickly.
I did because. Fortunately, I had a very good IT manager.
Right. Yep.
External contractor. Okay. It was a small business, and he basically said, "Look, we're always paranoid about losing client data. Like you weren't even allowed to take a client file home as a licensed financial advisor. You can't. It's illegal.
Good.
In case in the old days,
I'm glad
they were paper files, right?
Yeah, of course they were.
So if your car got stolen, someone stole someone's file. It was a reportable breach, and serious penalties for the advisors to put the thing at that risk. And so then, of course, we all went paperless, and then we had the risk of this whole cyber business. But it was, I remember it very clearly. I put on a new contractor, financial planner down in Margaret River, and I ran out of spots on my VPN to give him access to the server.
Okay.
So my IT guy said, "Look, I really shouldn't be doing this, but I really need it." Okay. So it was a weak link because I used a computer to hook him in to the server so he could get access and work. Ooh. But therein lies the breach. And these guys just found it. Oh. They're so clever. That's when clever. Everything, all the other machines, over 10 or 12 machines, all right, except one weak link. Bang, in they went.
Right.
And they froze 2 terabyte of client data. 30 years of client private
so
files.
Much information.
So we had Tevering binders that had filled this whole room, and they all got scanned and thrown onto paperless office. Yeah.
But when you've got good people looking after your private information, that's a great point. They'll go the extra mile, right? They won't just stick to very basic or one copy of everything. The risk is incredible. I can't get over that. Now I see comments coming from Josh. I was just going to read that. The only time one of these machines got hacked was the last time I ran in the federal election. Some low-level virus and the IT guys ended up replacing my Lappy. Well, that's interesting, mate. I can certainly identify with some interesting things that go on at election time. We learn a lot about our system at that time. But, and it's great that you stepped up, quite frankly. That's always a really positive thing.
Go, Josh.
Yes, Josh. And, obviously a guy who does understand his IT very, very strongly.
Yeah, no, very important. So frontline education of staff, Aaron, clearly is a next step.
Okay.
I looked at some competitors to this DefSafe crowd. So it's defsafe.com.
Okay.
DEF, safe, one word, .com. And it's a massive industry. Like one of their competitors sells the user a subscription per employee.
Yep.
For about 6 times what these guys sell it for.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a $3 billion market cap company in the US. It's registered on the NASDAQ.
Right.
But of course, these companies are desperate to provide some sort of security.
Absolutely. I mean, look, with every business, this is all about opportunity then, right? Isn't it? And I'm happy that they're actually stepping up and doing it. But you need the right people, because the reality is the crims are always going to be jumping at every opportunity to be one step ahead.
Yes.
Yeah, you've got to be done with that. So,
and when you've got people being prepared to pay ransom.
Well, it's that kind of okay, people think, well, it'll go away. Well, no, because you know what? Have you ever dealt with an honest thief? Okay, how can you? Oh, it's all right. I'll take the thief at their word that if I pay this, everything's going to be fine. I mean, it's an oxymoron. And
that was exactly the same with us. They said, this is the deal. Paid like $5,000 worth of Bitcoin. Here's the Bitcoin address. And we'll release a few of the files to prove we're decom.
Love that.
But they've sent so many companies broke, and big businesses. I think the average, the numbers in Australia, and they always deal with averages, of course, but the average impost in dollars per cyber attack in Australia is just over 400 grand.
What?
Yeah, per business.
Whoa.
But in America, it's 10 times that.
Is that right?
Yeah. So it's,
the population's also 15 times ours. So.
Yeah, but and there's that many more businesses, but per business, so it makes it like it's per business, right? And because there's a lot more wealthier companies in America, which really reflects their numbers, but it's over 4 million. So for every average business in America that gets hacked, it costs them over 4 million.
Gee, I wonder why this is big business to be stealing from people like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously there's different companies you can deal with who are going to be absolutely bang on the money, who are going to be looking after these things. And and again, this is kind of the beauty of your business wealth by design. You do the hard work and you actually go out and do the research and find those ones who can be trustworthy and the people who bring the best value to you. It's not just about trust. Trust is obviously phenomenally important, but obviously it's got to be cost effective, all of that. So you've got to bring the right people and being in the game for over a quarter of a century, that gives you one hell of a foot in the door, let's face it. Certainly a great advantage over me, who walks in and doesn't know any of the different names. They all look good to me. They might have a pretty website, all look shiny bells and whistles, and all of a sudden I'll click away. So look, what I've done too, just for your knowledge, mate, I've actually in our Wealth by Design chat, for those who are watching and sort of might be watching the chat as well, I've actually popped in the link so that if Tim wants to get hold of us through that link, we've put a fresh link up for him in our personal chat, which we do give access to. I love transparency, simple as that. That's who I am. So it's
on brand.
Yeah, look, it's the way it's supposed to be. We love our free speech around here. So sometimes you got to say the things that you might not want to say. You got to say the hard things out loud, but it's you've got to be an absolutist about this.
Yes.
And keep things out there. So I popped the fresh link there.
Fantastic.
For those who are involved, who are on board, jump on that one, and we'll get a fresh link, and we'll get Tim all the way from New Zealand.
Yeah. Oh, New Zealand. Yes. You must be far away now. So the simplicity of getting these bloody password manager's done is something we promote constantly on our website.
Okay.
Because if you ask 10 people, 2 would have done it.
Really?
Or 1.
Okay.
It's like a will. How many people have got a will?
Oh, no.
Like, well, about 40% of people, and about 80% of those out of date.
Well, as somebody who literally I got swindled, is the best way I could probably describe it, by a disappearing will. It does hurt you. I mean, it really hurts you, obviously, financially too. But first and foremost, it's very much financially, but otherwise too, it creates distrust. You know, you've got to have, when it comes to a will, you've got to have a good executor to them. You've got to really think about the right people for the right jobs and your wishes, and you want someone who actually do your will, right? Quite literally, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And when you fall, when you pass away without a will, the government get involved. They certainly get their big piece of the pie. There's all of that that goes.
Yeah, estate
quite
planning.
a picture. Oh,
it's a nightmare.
It really is.
We did a call yesterday with clients in Melbourne, and they were referred to us by our good friend Brandon.
Oh, fantastic! Oh,
yeah. So they bought some Bitcoin, and they were getting some advice from Brandon, and they asked a whole bunch of questions that outside Brandon's area of expertise. So refer them to me.
Yep.
But like when the question of estate planning came up, we went, okay, righto. So who owns the house here? Oh, Sally owns it. Oh, righto, John. So Sally owns the house. Has Sally got an enduring power of attorney so that if she has a stroke, you can act on your behalf because you are married and have been 15 years and got a child together? He went, of course not.
Because who thinks of that, right?
I'm a really good psychotherapist, and I run a great business, but I wouldn't have a clue what that is. What is it? I said, well, it's a legal document because Sally has a stroke. She's legally incapacitated.
Yeah.
She owns this house. She can't run any bank accounts. She can't sign anything. She can't sell the house. She can't sign documents with a builder to upgrade to deal with her disability, like a better kitchen and a better bathroom.
Such a fundamentally basic thing.
I know.
Put some rails up, right? Like, come on.
Yeah. Can't do it. And then, I said to old Johnny, well, look, mate, you ultimately will be granted sort of limited access to some of the finances around the property and Sally's bank accounts, but it'll be limited. Yeah. It'll cost you over 10 or 12 grand to apply to the Supreme Court of Victoria, and it'll take 9 to 10 months. Yeah. He went, you're joking. For $70, man, you can get a bloody proper enduring power of attorney done and get it registered.
Is that all it costs? Seriously? And
how many of us, we're
all running around without one.
Yeah. Well, if you do it yourself, it's about $70. If you get a lawyer to do it, it'll be about, 150 to 200.
Well, to be absolutely frank, I think it's a probably good investment. I really do.
Yeah. It's not critical.
Yeah. And, I'm all for doing it yourself, but if that's the difference in price, look, go through a reputable lawyer.
You've got to do it. And then there's advanced health directives.
Okay.
They're different in each state, but basically where you can just say, look, now while I'm sane, if I ever get into a situation where I'm never going to recover, just give me pain relief.
Okay.
Don't revive me.
Yeah.
The doctor's got to sign off on it. And bingo.
Oh, look, I've very recently seen this, and the person was, at the end of their life, and they asked for it, do not resuscitate, and they asked just to be made comfortable. And look, went through all the process, and I mean, I don't know if all the T's were crossed and the dots were right, but it's not adhered to until someone brings in that piece of paper.
And you bring up a very good point. The paper is critical because that's the legal side of it.
Yeah.
But the Hippocratic Oath, the doctors swear by when they take on being a doctor, often will override the legal paperwork. And that actually does happen. They go, nah, we can't let them die.
Is that right?
Yeah. Ooh. And that's actually, if you talk to people in the know, because we always try to be in the know, Aaron, in our world, we're the connectors, and we try to keep well informed. And that happens more often than you'd think. The doctors will go, well, I've got the bit of paper, but I'm going to ignore it.
Is that right? Oh. Well, okay. Over the last 4 years, we saw a lot of doctors just throw away the Hippocratic Oath. Excuse me. Still got the leftovers of the flu here. But that,
You're good.
I got a pass on this one. Yeah, but I didn't know that. No, I thought that's stigma.
Yeah. So you think you're absolutely
safe.
safe. I'm sure in most cases you are, but if you get a couple of recalcitrant doctors, I'll go, nah.
Right.
No, just don't worry about that bit of paperwork. Well, I will keep this bugger alive because we don't want to see him die. Our job is to keep people alive.
Well, that's it's a it's an important thing. I mean, I do like a doctor who tries to keep me alive. Definitely, that's the sort of one I want. But I think if you're at that end of life, you do want your wishes to be absolutely respected. No doubt about that.
Yes.
All right, mate. Look, I'm tell you what, right? Well, this is the beauty of being live. I get all these fantastic messages coming through, and I'm going to go through a few of them. But in the meantime, can I step sideways? I'm going to just jump on to do the computer thing. I'm going to pretend that I understand the land of IT, and I'm going to do a couple of things here.
Yeah.
Can we step out of the security thing just for a moment and talk a little bit? If you can give us a bit of a rundown of the novated lease stuff.
Yeah, sure.
I think that would be a great thing to do. So
yeah, sure.
Because this is the thing that I get asked about the most.
Yes.
Full stop. Yeah. Every week.
Yeah. Okay. So salary packaging has been around for about 25 years.
Okay.
And novated leasing is one of those products that gets salary packaged via a three-way agreement between you, your employer, and the salary packaging administration company. Okay.
Yep.
That's how it's set up. It's an ATO approved tax product.
Okay.
And it can only be offered to an employee if the employer is prepared to offer it.
Yeah.
So the employee can't get access to it unless the employer is prepared to offer it as a benefit to their staff.
Yeah,
and they don't have to.
That kind of is I guess the stumbling block here. Most employers don't know they can do it with a small business. Everybody thinks it's a big business.
That is so true, because you've got it's about 6,500 novated leases signed up each month in Australia. It's a massive business.
It really is.
Yeah, like the loan book with Macquarie for novated leasing at one stage there was about 3.8 billion. It's massive.
It's a lot of cards.
And of course, it's an unregulated industry, which simply means that there's no real legal compliant requirement to disclose anything of material fact to the customer, including the interest rate, which is quite interesting. And so,
including the interest rate.
Yeah, including the interest rate. Yeah. So you won't even see the interest rate written into the loan document because they don't legally have to do it. They don't need to tell you up front either.
Well, why would you sign something that hasn't got an interest rate on it?
Because it's sold very, very heavily as a product.
Okay.
And it's a tax product.
Right.
And when I did that 10-year contract with Rio back in the old days, you had young miners who were great, blast guys, or they could blow up mountains, and they could do all sorts of clever stuff in the mining game, engineering, drive trucks. But they would think, the company's offering a novated lease.
Yep.
How good's that? The tax man will pay for my fuel.
Yeah.
Like it was a level of mentality around it.
Sure.
And
because they're good at what they're good at. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't know what you don't know. And these people have got fantastic skills, but they can't be across finance. They can't be across insurance. They can't be across all these sorts of things. You just don't have the time in the day. So there's a lot of trust that's been put there.
Yeah, dead right. And so we would go in there and go, well, novated lease will save you some tax. However, do you need a $65,000 ute, when you could get one to hack around the Kakadu for 10 grand? And we'd have that discussion.
Sure.
But if everything's on the level, a novated lease is a fabulous access to a tax deduction you would normally not get access to, because employees can't really claim much as a deduction.
No, it's gotten really tough.
It's tough.
Every single year they seem to make it harder and harder and harder.
They get hammered.
Yeah.
And so, and of course, with electric vehicles, I know you're not a big fan, Aaron, but
I know, but again, like each their own. Okay, I don't want to force my opinions on others. Okay, I can actually, sometimes I do, but I think I can see their value. I can see the thing. It's just a personal thing. As a guy who's just been growing up around cars and motorsport, I'm struggling. I mean, hang on, I just realised something. Hang on. I owned an electric car well before they were out and popular, and in fact for my first car. I've just realised, because back in 1984 I got my first car electrics kit. So there you go. I had my electric car.
Well done. No doubt about you. So you're ahead of the pack, mate.
I must be.
In
right
many
there.
ways.
There you go. Yeah, go on, because the incentives for these are insane.
They are. Well, okay. So your normal, you've got your normal novated lease, which is a petrol or diesel car. They call them ICE cars.
Yeah,
internal combustion engine. Yeah. And so petrol or diesel, very little gas cars these days. Okay. Yeah, for obviously reasons they just went out of fashion. They putting a big gas tank, no room for your suitcase. You know?
There's no way you can fill them up anymore.
No. And so there, and they work out roughly half and half. Like the total cost of running that car with finance and insurance and registration and tyres and servicing and all that sort of stuff works out, say, 20 grand.
Right.
You might be able to put 20 grand through post-tax and then 20 grand through pre-tax.
Okay.
Ish. You got to do a separate calculation for every single car. So they're not always 50-50.
Sure. Then
you get your tax break for the tax deductible component, the 10 grand that goes through pre-tax. Because if you're on, 34 cents the dollar tax rate, you're going to save 3,400 in tax on a 10 grand, right?
Of course you are.
And so that's that one. And then, of course, the Greens and the government with Albanese brought in the tax incentives for electric cars and for plug-in hybrids. And the plug-in hybrid, big announcement only last week with David Pocock, one of the senators. He basically said, no, we're going to stick to our guns and remove the tax incentives from April next year, 2025.
So you know what? Jump to it if you want to plug in hybrid.
Totally.
Yeah.
If you've got a plug-in hybrid that you'd like, get onto it. Okay. Call us. We'll show you exactly how to do it. Just go straight through to either our novated leasing website, which is nclo.com.au. Okay. And then you can email us, call us, whatever. Book into the calendar link. Or go straight to Wealth by Design. You can do the same. Look up novated leasing. We'll talk you through it. But they are 100% tax deductible. So that $20,000 example I gave you, which is the finance and all of the budgeted running costs for the year.
Right.
And for these vehicles, the insurance is quite expensive.
Is it?
Yeah. So if you're going to pay $700 or $800 for your normal ICE car, these things will be $1,200 or $1,500.
Oh, really? So 56% up. Okay.
Yeah, they are. Because they're, as soon as you bump them, it's major. It's major.
It's true.
It's tricky. Like one bloke got a bit of a nudge in his, on his radiator.
Right.
With one of these cars. I think it was a Tesla. And
radiator? Well, they have
radiator. The grill. Thank you for pulling me up.
There we go.
Thank you for pulling me up. The grill, the false grill.
Yep.
Or the fake grill with no holes in it.
No, okay.
Because there's no radiator. and that broke a little lug.
Right.
Which meant the bonnet was popped up.
Okay.
It took 6 months to get the little lug.
Oh no.
From China. So the car couldn't be driven.
Get a 3D printer. Get that sorted out. Knock that out. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Wow. Okay, that would push you.
Yeah, that's a bit annoying. But that's an expensive insurance job for a tiny little thing.
Of course it is.
Yeah. So,
I mean, look, anything in life, there's pros and cons, right? The reality is with electric motor, there's far less to be done at each service. So servicing from that point of view is very, very simple, right? The other side is they're heavy, so they chew through brakes. So, there's a bit of there's give and take in anything in life.
Yeah. And interesting, I thought that that you can go through the tyres if you don't get used to driving them quite easily, because they've got incredible torque, and so a tiny bit of pressure on this accelerator, they want to spin their wheels,
right?
Or the back wheel spin because they're back wheel driven, and so apparently that goes through the tyres a bit, and they're expensive, like $350 to $400 each.
All right, I'm going to go through a set a week.
But the tax incentives are massive, because if you've got $20,000 of total costs pre-tax through your salary, and you're on a $100,000 salary, now you're going to get taxed on 80 grand. No tax on 20 grand.
And we all need a car, right? So the incentive, exactly that. The incentive to why not get some of your tax money to actually pay for that?
It is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's the most generous tax incentive I've seen given to Australian employees in the 30 years I've been in the industry.
Right. Well, look, I tend to think, yeah, well, plug-in hybrid has some advantages because it stops the range anxiety issues. That's a big thing because it can literally run on both. You've got more freedoms because it can actually run off its ICE engine. There's a lot of benefits there. So yeah, I would probably use this as an opportunity to encourage people to maybe look at them now, because when do they cut the date?
So the plug-in hybrid is April 2025.
Right.
Now a full electric is 1 July 2027.
Okay.
So what a lot of people are doing are getting clever about it. They're going, Jeff, give me a quote for, say, 28 months.
Okay.
So it pulls up in around April, May 2025. And that's, I'm out of that lease then.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Because once you're in the lease, you're in the lease. You can't cut them off short. You just can't do it.
And if the rules change in the meantime, because there's something that's a small issue, and this is kind of why I said about encouraging people to look at the plugins, because I do think they're a superior product apart from anything else. That's my own personal thought. But the other side is that, well, look, there's an election in May next year. Okay, we haven't put the date down, but we know that is going to change the playing field there. So to me, it creates a little bit of urgency for me. Like, I'm sitting here as a guy who's, like, as I say, not particularly a person who's into electric cars or hybrid cars.
Yes.
But I'm thinking about it. Like, I'm thinking, like, for myself, I'm thinking maybe I should look at a hybrid, right?
Yeah.
Because these incentives are incredibly, end of the day, I need transport. Okay. End of the day, you've got to get around. So if these, and also I, just like most Australians, hate tax. So if I can minimise my tax, if I can actually use it for something productive, I've got my foot on the throttle on this one a little bit.
Fantastic.
For April next year, I think.
Oh my God, Tim's in the waiting room.
Oh, Tim's in the waiting room?
Tim's in the waiting room.
Okay, now, hang on, I don't see him there, but okay.
He just sent me a text to say I'm in the waiting room.
Well, he might be in the waiting room, but I'll tell you right now, I do not see him. So
okay, so he's not in our waiting room.
Right, he's not in our waiting room. He might be in somebody else's.
Right. Oh God.
All right, I don't know why that'd be the case, but let's have a bit of a look. Let's see. We've got that. No, it's definitely not that. Okay. I don't know if you could let him know that I've sent the link for him through the chat through Messenger. So if he wants to have a word with Lisa, he get that link from Lisa, and Lisa will share that with him.
Okay.
And we'll go through there, because he must be into the wrong spot or another spot. Okay, geez, I know we've got new studios here, Edge, but we're sitting out waiting rooms everywhere. I mean, come on, one everywhere, left, right, and centre. But he's all the way over New Zealand, so I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got to say.
Righto.
We may as well get techie here,
so
bring him in.
Righto. So I'll just shoot that to him now, and
as I say, I'm looking there, and no, we have not got anybody there waiting. So we'll wait for him to pop up on the corner of the screen and bring him in. Cybersecurity is such a big deal, and I think that people really need to get this man Tim certainly sounds like he's got his finger on the pulse of this one. So yes. He can grab that link for us.
Okay, I'll just do that now.
We're messaging left, right, and centre. I appreciate everyone who's been on board too. I see comments coming through, and listeners coming through, and viewers coming through, or left, right, and centre. So on all the different places, really fantastic to see you there. Love the fact of getting involved. Josh, thank you for those comments earlier, as well as comments that came in from Consumer Extraordinaire. This is a great name. If you've got any other comments or questions that you'd like to put through, please do, and we'll address those as soon as we possibly can. All right.
Now, Lisa, and so Lisa, to be given the correct link, she's already provided the main link. So what other link would she provide? I
have put a link in the Wealth by Design Messenger chat, and that is the correct one. So if he clicks on that, that should bring him in, and I will see him pop up on the screen, hopefully, with me doing a little clicking action.
Yes, excellent.
We can bring him in.
Or I could go and grab it myself and put it straight into this WhatsApp one.
See, if you know what's going on.
Let me just do that.
WhatsApp. There's so many ways of communicating these
days.
I
know. This is so good. So I'm going to go here.
All right. So now I want to actually take this opportunity to have a quick word with Josh about that comment that he had before about the election machines being hacked. This I don't know if you're aware of this, but I've just heard today, apparently in the US, that ballot boxes have been catching fire and exploding. I tell you right now, it's an interesting time to be alive, isn't it? Hey, wow.
God.
We always put so much importance on free and fair elections. I'd be interested in your point, your comment there, Josh, on that one, because you're a guy who's definitely been involved in the process for a long, long time, which is a good thing. All right, well, we'll just wait, as I say, if I can just get that through, and I will bring him on board. But he's definitely not there. I'm looking, so where are we? Oh, the miracles of life. What can you say? You know what? Although it's a little frustrating, obviously, at the same time, it's also it's a blessing in disguise from the point of view of, I think that so much stuff that goes out in the media in this world is censored, it's chopped to bits. It's so important to go live. It shows that this is authentic thoughts. Nothing's been chopped, nothing's been changed. These are the thoughts as they come through. So we'll get that coming through. Hopefully, we'll be able to speak to Tim very shortly.
And the and so the link that Tim that you just put in is in the which one is it?
It is in the Wealth by Design
Messenger,
Facebook Messenger chat.
Yes, right, good.
Which, as I say, because of good old transparency, many people have got access to that, and hopefully he can grab that one and put that to work for us. All right, okay, and just go through these other comments here. There's quite a few, so it's good. Now, I don't know where people are listening because I see one feed, but I'm telling you right now, they are from all sorts of places obviously through YouTube, and I really encourage people to do the odd like, share, and subscribe. It makes such a big difference to us and what we can do. Great to see people listening through Twitch, but I really want to encourage YouTube at the moment because that is, it's a great way that I can actually see lots of comments very, very quickly. It seems to be the fastest one for bringing the comments up, but obviously we get a lot of people listening through Facebook, through other social media, as I say. So here, there, and everywhere. All right. So now, has Tim got our little message there?
I hope so.
Oh, I hope so. All right. As I say, well, it's a long swim to New Zealand, so it's much easier to talk to him through here. Now let's bring up. I've got.
And if I could go and grab the link myself,
lovely. All right.
It might help. So I've got Lisa wing the link across to Tim.
Now Josh just said that his work computer was one that was hacked, and he's pretty tech savvy. Certainly far more than my abilities. So we go, but work lumpy, and it was a Windows machine. All right. Oh, the great debate. Windows versus Apple. Hey, I guess that's what that comes down to. All right, let's go. So if we bring it back. I do, as I say, I thank you all for hanging online because we have got a little difficulty here. For some reason, we're not getting the link coming through. Maybe we might have to cut short and maybe bring Tim on another occasion.
We might just have to if we can't get the link.
We may need to do that.
Link across.
I'm very surprised though. But these things happen.
I would have, if I had. I'm in Messenger and Wealth by Design Messenger, and would it say StreamYard? It's browser-based live studio, blah blah. Is that it? It
is. If you look at the screen, I've just brought it up for you there, mate. You can actually see it. So I've actually put that link up there.
Yes.
So that's all in those three. All three of those are the links that I've shared for him. So yes, you can grab one of those.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So I'm going to grab that
now. Okay. Josh has said, there we go. Bring that up. Okay, so he's my home computer. Oh, look at you, man! Jeez, you're not even on. You're completely out there. That's brilliant, mate. So Linux is that how you pronounce it? I know a couple of people who use that, and they tend to be very, very savvy indeed. So he's kept away from Windows and Apple. Probably a very smart move, my friend. Very, very good. All right, we'll get back to the other screen here so I can see if I can grab Tim. We haven't got him, but we live in hope. All right, what's going on there? Okay. Well, I would have thought he'd definitely be in here by now, but I'm very surprised. So I think we may have to actually bring him back on another occasion, unfortunately.
Yes,
there.
It's a shame.
It is a shame. It is a shame. Well, but, that is the limitations of tech sometimes. You never know. He's I'm sure he certainly knows the technology, but ultimately, if you're not getting the connection from one side of the world to the other, I don't know. Now, what's this comment that's just come through? Oh, there we go. And Oh, look at that. Yes, another comment's coming from now. I never know how to pronounce this person's name, but I love the comment. I would use Linux, except I can't play Fortnite on it. Bit of a sad thing. Yeah, you've got to have your Fortnite. I mean, come on, without that, what is the computer really worth? All righty. I would love for you to send through a pronunciation of how I should actually say your name there, because, yeah, what would we call you there? I just don't know. Let's have another look. There we go. And I have actually, yes, over time figured out who this is. An absolute great fella who actually knows his IT very, very strong. I'll tell you what, I could certainly do with his expertise right now, probably. All right. No, I just think we're obviously not getting through to the other side of the ditch.
No, the other side of the ditch. It's proved to be a shame. Tim's been waiting there for this since the start of the meeting, but
okay.
he's been. Sounds like he's been provided the wrong link.
Oh, deploy. There we go. I can now pronounce it. All right. Well, the link that I've sent him there, I can't do anything else, unfortunately. So there's obviously somewhere through the system that the link hasn't gone through. But he's been there and he can't actually access it. I really don't know what else I can do there.
That's hard to know. If I had the link sent to WhatsApp or something here, and I could copy it across to his WhatsApp, it would work. But I can't find those links that you've put in here.
They're not on your. Hang on, you've gone into your Facebook Messenger.
I have,
and they're not there.
Yep.
Well, let me just send it again. Okay, you never know. But I mean, I can see it there in front of me, but hey, who knows? Right. Now, someone has actually acknowledged the last one. So who has actually, it's been seen. So Lisa has actually seen that last link. It's gone through. So maybe we can just try that one again. It's definitely there. So when you go through your Wealth by Design Messenger, mate, have you got it there?
Okay. No.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, I just don't think we're going to have any joy here, unfortunately. So, as my phone is going off here, left, right, center, well, let's see what we can do. Thank you to everybody who's staying online and joining us with us. Really appreciate that, because things when they are live are not always very smooth. All right. Okay. Right. There we go. All right, this is the problem. Okay, it's not copying and pasting. That's the problem.
It's not
allowing it to copy and paste. That's very interesting.
Right.
All right. Well, my apologies for that. There's nothing I can do on that one. All right. That makes absolutely no sense. But that is tech for you.
That's tech for you.
You know what we need? We need a cybersecurity guy to give us advice on how to fix this up. Imagine if he actually had access, he'd have this fixed in absolute seconds. Never mind. All right. Well, my apologies to everybody who has jumped on for this particular show and wanted to hear Tim's advice and thoughts. What we'll do a dedicated show and we'll bring him in and just go straight from the start and jump straight on in.
Yep.
How's that sound?
We'll do it again.
All right. With that, let's end the show. Thank you very much for being part. I've got another message coming in there, Windows 11 from Josh. Yes, I can tell you right now, everybody has sort of had enough with Windows 11 already. Thank you very much for everybody who's been part of the show. As I say, I've been watching the numbers go up and down and people listening all over the place. Very much appreciate it. This is Wealth by Design here on Edge Radio Australia. We will catch you very, very soon. We'll see you next week. There will be a replay of this show on Saturday. You can always hear the audio at edgeradioaustralia.com. As I say, it'll be at 9 a.m. on this Saturday. And also we will arrange and get Tim on to give a nice dedicated big chunk of time. We'll do another show with that. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for being part of Wealth by Design on Edge Radio Australia.